Okay, while we're waiting for anybody on, you got it? Are you on? Okay. We have and ladies, I gotta apologize. We were introduced last night, but for me to remember your names, I'm sorry. So, do you want to come with her at the table? Okay. Pardon? Yeah. Okay, if you want to just press your red button and I'll turn your mic on for you. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So
now it's fine, no? Okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Sure.
I am Marta Sanchez, the tourism auditor. She's Antonia Varela, the astronomy auditor. She's the one who is going to make the presentation of the foundation Starlight.
Okay.
Just to explain you a little bit more about the project.
Okay. Thank you. And you prefer to stand from there? Okay. You have the floor, dear.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. We are pleasure to present this project, this initiative. We know the team of you. We have the opportunity to meet and to exchange several opinions. Marta Sanchez and me, she's expertise in tourism and doctor in astrophysicists. And then both together we are proposed this audit in Nova Scotia in the Academy Science and Denmark. Then let me first of all show you where this project is involved. Involved in Canary Islands. The Canary Islands belong to the Maronesian archipelago. Both the climatological and geographical factors offer the best conditions for astronomical observations.
Yeah.
If you speak into a microphone, the meeting is recorded.
Yeah.
And then we can, people hearing could hear it.
Yeah. Is it not a thing for her to wear in the ear?
I believe there is.
No.
Actually, I was just going to say, I'll move over to another desk.
I can control from here. This is a problem. Maybe, yeah. And I can look.
Absolutely.
How many things? It's okay. Like that. It's better like that.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's well, for me. It's okay.
Is that okay? You want to sit in here?
To move like that. Okay. Then, the Canary Islands then offer the best conditions for astronomical observation. As you know, the climate is dominated by a persistent area of high pressure in the North Atlantic called as Azores or Bermuda High. And then the combination of the trend wind scenarios and the cold oceanic stream, together with the orography and the inversion layer, offer the best conditions for astronomical observation. Also, the observatories are above the inversion layer, where is the sea of clouds. And then in the summits, the atmosphere is clear, is transparent, and then is very good for astronomical conditions. Let me show you this picture of the Teide Observatory. You can see these satellite images. This is the Tenerife Island, where is at the summit at 2,400 meters. This observatory, this is the Teide Observatory. And next, very close, let me show you this picture. You can see the Roque de los Muchachos Observatory on the edge of the Caldera de la Taburiente. This is a biosphere reserve of UNESCO, and 133 kilometers you have the Teide Observatory. You can see both islands, both observatories, and the Sea of Clouds in the middle. And the building, the main center of astrophysics, is located there at Tenerife Island. This is the Institute of Astrophysics of Canary Islands, IEC. Then there are two observatories at La Palma, Roque de los Muchachos Observatory, the Teide Observatory, and there are two centers. The main buildings are located at Tenerife Islands, is the IEC left hand, and the Centro of Astrophysics of La Palma. Both combined facilities for night and solar research, and joint telescopes and astronomical instrumentation for more than 60 institutions of about 20 countries, that together with the Research and Technology Center at Tenerife, with the CALP, constitute the European Northern Observatory. This is the inauguration, the official inauguration with the monarchies, European monarchies and authorities in 1985. And this is the web page of the IEC. Upper, you can see in the board the different institutions, the government of the Canaries, the University of La Laguna, the Minister of Education of the Spain, and the Consejo Superior de Research Scientifique de Spain. These are different institutions that form the government of the IEC. And our main goal is strengthening the most advanced research and technology in astrophysics. There are different fields, mainly related with the structure of the universe and cosmology, the local universe, the galaxies and the local galaxies, also physics of star, planetary system and interstellar medium, the sun, solar system, and technology, instrumentation and space instrumentations. Regarding the technology, it's quite important for us to improve and to develop the business instrumentation, the business network, and then there is a main important department of technology to develop technology. Then here you have the list of software, electronics, optics department, mechanics laboratories, and instrument maintenance of different telescopes hosting installed at both observatories. And also for the IEC, it's quite important the promotional activity, teaching at the university, and the educational, you can see at the webpage of the IEC, educational contents, audiovisual material, and the highlights of facilities of both observatories. Then the IEC has the importance, sorry, because this is a video. You can see these are time-lapse images, video, recorded at the Teide Observatory. You can see the high quality of the sky at the Canaries, and the Sky Quality Protection Technical Office, OTPC, was set by the IEC in January 1992 to provide advice of the application of the Sky Law. This Sky Law has these main targets, or to protect the astronomical quality of the observatories in the Canaries in 4 fronts, from land pollution, radioelectric pollution, atmospheric, and aviation routes. Then this is the first and unique special integral law in 4 factors. And also, the IEC has long been aware of the importance of promoting activities related with the characterization and protection of the observatories, and for this purpose, in the late 80s, was created a Sky Quality Group, or Sky Team. I belong to this team, and our main targets are measure the parameters related with the astronomical observation of the atmosphere, design and development of new instrumental techniques for astronomical characterization on the world, and the publication and dissemination of these results in different forums, specialized for general public. For that, let me show you. For this reason, our team, we have working for selecting the best site for hosting the GTC, Gran Telescopio Canarias. This is a visible and infrared telescope of 10.4 meters, the largest telescope, ground telescope of the world. And also, we have working for the ATST and for the ELT. This is now we are working with the site testing group for the CTA, which is the major gamma ray project of the world, to be installed maybe at Arizona or Teide Observatory. And now we are also working for the European Solar Telescope installation. This is the biggest, the largest solar telescope of the world, together with the ATST, which is an American solar telescope of 4 meters. Okay. At the same time, it's for that in 2007, the IEC promoted a meeting which is an initiative called Starlight. These are, you have the list of different institutions, among them several very important institutions such as UNESCO, as you know, the World Organization of Tourism, the International Astronomical Union, etc., to perform a declaration, the Starlight Declaration, in defense of the night sky and the right of observe the stars. This meeting was held at La Palma, and in 2009, this initiative was awarded with the prize César Manrique for the defense to the dark sky. The first article, the promoters and winners are the Institute of Astrophysics, the Cabildo, which is the municipality or the government of La Palma, and different organizations such as UNESCO and other organisms. The important thing is this is the first article of the Starlight Declaration, was that an unpolluted night sky that allows the enjoyment of contemplation of the firmament should be considered an inalienable right equivalent to all other social, cultural, and environmental rights. Hence, the progressive degradation of the night sky must be regarded as a fundamental loss. And the final aim of the initiative is to strengthen the importance of clear sky for humankind, emphasizing and introducing the value of this endangered heritage for science, education, culture, technological development, nature conservation, tourism, and obviously as a quality of life factor. In this sense, the Starlight Foundation was created as the body in charge of the operational management of the Starlight Initiative, providing human resource and means for this, for its development and promotion. These are the hierarchy of the Starlight Foundation. The president is a man of, is a chief of finance of the government of the Canaries, and also is the president of the entrepreneurs of business. The vice president is our ex-director and the fundador who funded, inaugurated the IEC. The director is Luis Martinez Saez, and other partners or the IEC director. Nowadays, our director is Rafa Rebolo, and the GTC director, Pedro Alvarez. The immediate benefits for this Starlight Initiative are energy saving, safety, environmental improvements, and enjoy the starry sky. And then it's important to take into account that these provide different research lines. For example, the brightening of the night skies degrades the quality of astronomical observation, that is important for astronomy, but also affects the behavior and reproduction of nocturnal animals. Then it's important for biology, but also can produce and control circadian rhythms of humans and can affect to the wellness, and then it's important also for medicine. Then this is the cultural dimension of night sky. We have to recover the starry sky to protect and promote the tangible and intangible natural heritage associated with the contemplation of night sky. This is a heritage in danger, scarcely appreciated and little known. Also, science is another dimension. Then I want to present the protection to the windows to the universe. The protection of the window, these are privileged sites for astronomical observations. The initiative Starlight develops in cooperation with UNESCO and ICOMOS, which is the International Council on Monuments and Sites, the proposal to include windows to the universe in the list of World Heritage. We meet in New Zealand, in Mount Cook, to establish the basis to be denomine this site as a heritage of the world. No? I wanted, in the first study, the series of sites are named in India, the Canarian Observatory, the Observatory Cerro Tololo and Cerro Pachón on Chile, and the Hawaiian Islands in Mauna Kea and Haleakala. And also there are other sites to be protected as windows to the universe, for example, San Pedro Martyr at Baja California, the areas of Arizona, Namibia, special sites in Uzbekistan, North of Africa, and Argentina, and Antarctica. Then also the Starlight want to protect the wildlife and to connect the wildlife and stars. Here you have that the natural bright light is essential for the healthy functioning of many organisms and ecosystems. Then usually we forget that life is maintaining 24 hours a day and over millions of years of evolution. Then ecosystems have adapted to natural rhythms of the moon and stars. And also, the negative effects caused by the increase of emission and the intrusion of artificial light seriously can affect several species, no? Also, the starry sky, landscape, and environmental values is another dimension of the Starlight Foundation. Here you can see a wonderful image of the Lake Tekapo in New Zealand. And you can see that the starry sky, night sky, can be considered as one of the greatest shows to which we have access today. Landscape associated with the sky have an incredible variety of manifestations often forgotten. And also, that's new, the Starlight proposal in defense of the landscapes of starry sky has been collected by the European Landscape Convention. And then some national parks and World Heritage Sites have begun to incorporate this new dimension of conservation and public enjoyment of its values. Also, it's quite important the intelligent lighting in order to recover the stars and mitigate the climate change. Here you can see a map of the light pollution in Europe. You have the pink and red areas are more polluted, and the dark or less polluted. And then you have the number of stars which are visible at different sites. Usually, you can see of order of 2,000 stars nowadays. But nevertheless, in the main of cities of Europe, you can only see 0 or 200 at maximum. And here you have also an important image of all the world. You have also Canada, and you can't see maybe Nova Scotia. This is a good signal. Then that means that there are very few polluted, no? There is almost no contamination in this area, no? Nevertheless, in the east of Canada, there is more pollution. And here, this is the conclusion. The wise use of artificial lighting has to be promoted so that the glare that causes the sky is reduced to the minimum, also avoiding harmful impacts on humans and in the wildlife. And then we think that the public administration and the lighting industry and the main actors involved have to ensure responsible use of artificial light by all users. This is the most important thing to avoiding to disturb or to emit this light pollution to the space, no? And have to be measured from the ground and from the space. These are the technical criteria to preserve the night sky. There are 3 criteria: orientation, intensity, and spectral range regarding the lamps that we are using. There are 4 types with the flux, the emission. This is an acronym in Spanish that means the emission to the hemisphere north of the lamp must be, for example, for the balloon lamps, the emission is larger than 50%. In other, which is bad, is about 35%, and we propose these best and better orientations where the emission is lower than 5%. This is the correct for avoiding light contact pollution. Also, the intensity of the light is measuring by lumens, and then it's not accepted more than 20 lumen, and it's accepted between 3 and 20 lumen. And also, an important thing is the spectral range, because when you pollute you emit light to the sky, this contributes to the background, but also in different emission lines in the spectra of several astronomical objects. Then we are not sure if this line, this spectra correspond to a nebula, planetary nebula, or to the sodium lamp, which is in the village. And then for that, we have to remove or to adequate the lamps to an spectral range, avoiding to pollute. And then these are different models that are proposed to avoid this dispersion of light to the sky. And also we propose colored colors, but no cold, no, which are better, even not stressing the eyes and less polluting for the astronomical lines, etc. These are several polluting lamps, different models. Then you can see that what are you using here, for example, last one, or the lamps you're using in stadiums, public. It's normal to use it for the football, etc. But it's very good idea to have a regulation of the use of these lamps, no? And these are the proposed no polluting lamps. There are more details in this web page of the OTPC, the Oficina Protección del Cielo. And this OTPC also can produce technical reports for lighting projects and radioelectric stations, as well as issuing lighting certificates if you require. It's quite important also for us, the energetic saving. We propose an intelligent lighting. I mean, the objective is to improve the monuments and the city, but it has no sense. For example, it's a rational use of the light and turn off when there is no public on the street. Maybe in midnight we can switch off the lamps, or to use adequate lamps. And here I can show you an example at the Rodeos Airport at Tenerife. The first year they have changed our lamps, and then the cost was about 36,000 euros, and the total save in reposition and in saving in energy was about 37,000 euros. Then you have a save in the first year of 1,000 euros in energy. And then you can see upper is the image before the adaptation. Lower you can see left and right after and before midnight. For example, this is an important square in Puerto de la Cruz, which is an important touristic city town. And this is the change before and after the adaptation. You can see even, I don't know, but you can see stars in the lower figure. You can see pictures, you can see even the stars from a touristic, very important village of Tenerife. Also, other important thing for Starlight of the rural areas and the urban oases. In this sense, we are promoting the stellariums on the star parks. The Starlight initiative launched in 2010. And the Star Parks campaign in collaboration with the Astronomical Without Borders and other organizations to promote worldwide and to identify the existence of a space in every town and city where the minimum conditions for the enjoyment of the starry sky are respected. And also, rural houses and hotels and camps, or they constitute a quantification granted by the foundation to those establishments that offer an accredited quality worthy pointing and that became propagators of the content of the Declaration of the La Palma in defense of the right sky. Finally, I wanted to say that the IEC support the Starlight Initiative, collaborating with the Starlight Foundation in defining the astronomical requirements, methods, and measurements of the analysis procedure, but also in the disseminating the knowledge with the defense of the dark skies. The most important parameters for a starlight destination or for a starlight reserve will be dispersed light pollution, a large number of clear nights, the excellent seeing, and the air transparency, all of crucial conditions to contemplation of starry skies and for the practice of touristic activities inspired on these resorts. At the same time, we know that the tourist is a way to knowledge. Then the tourist experiences or a way to knowledge. And in this end, there are several segments: the natural resources, there is a nature tourist, cultural resources, cultural tourist resources, tourist scientific resources, why not? Then we propose a scientific tourist and intelligent tourist. What does this mean? That the science as a working methodology in tourism. The tourist can be an instrument to mitigate climate change, an instrument for sustainability, and also an instrument for development. This is the basis of the Starlight Initiative. And why the astronomy? Because the astronomy is a transversal element to the whole of humanity, cultures, and countries, and also is the starting point of science for many cultures. Then all these, the tourists in the Starlight Initiative must follow recommendations and voluntary standards. Then the Starlight certification seeks to guarantee the capacity to enjoy the view of the star and discover the associated scientific, cultural, natural, and scenic values. And the Starlight certification makes it possible to the first time to bring science and tourism together. Then there are several conception. There is a destination, tourist starlight destination or visitable places characterized by excellent quality for the contemplation of starry sky, and the practice of tourist activities based on this resort. Then this is the page of the was created with this Starlight Tourist Certification was created with this aim of encouraging at the worldwide level the improvement of quality of tourist experience and the protection of the night sky in the Starlight destination. And also there is another concept, reserve. For example, Nova Scotia has, Acadian Sky has applied to be a reserve in several sites, and this concept is the top level for starlight destinations. You don't require to have a starlight infrastructure. In the certification, there are 2 audits, as you can see, the astronomical condition or conditions sine qua non to be a destination, a starlight destination. But if you apply for a tourist starlight destination, then you have to pass the audit, the tourist audit. These are a summary. I'm not going to go in technical concept, but the 4 astronomical parameters that you have to measure or cloud cover along more than 1 year is cloud cover, sky brightness, the seeing, which is the quality of images, and the transparency of the atmosphere. And then the threshold for the destination is different, is less restricted than the threshold for reserve. That or the restriction are quite high. For example, the sky brightness must be, or the cloud coverage must be smaller than 50% for a destination, and for a reserve smaller than 60. Or for example, also it's quite important. The sky brightness is quite dark for a reserve than for a destination. We understand that there are village, towns, and then the pollution is a bit larger than for a reserve. For example, the Tibetic area can be a reserve without pollution at all. And here I wanted only to mention several strengths for starlight. The main things are to decrease the light pollution, the creation of products linked with the night sky and sky routes, the archaeological environment or important cultural claim, and is strongly related with the astronomy. Then also the dark sky routes can combine both facilities or the existence of touristic observatories for developing and promoting the astrotouristic activities, or also several activities and scientific research related with agriculture, or with the fish, etc., the wine, the gastronomy, or also an important attractor, the presence of museum and divulgation center on local history, biodiversity, resources, archaeological, or also the development of territorial marketing with the engagement of the residents of the local regional stakeholders, and the implication of the scientific community and astronomy amateurs in this project. And moreover, for the Starlight Foundation, it's quite important the light pollution control. We have also to track the sky quality of these areas certificated in order to see that you follow the conditions to keep it, and develop infrastructure related to astrotourism. And also for the Starlight Foundation, it's quite important the formation of starlight guides, starlight monitors, and also auditors. And let me finish with several activities. For example, at Tenerife every year, but this is the third one, I think so. There is the festival, Starmus Festival, that brings together astronomy with science, spatial science, astronauts, with the musician, with the, it's a very festival, international festival, in order to discover the cosmos, and to put together all science. For example, in this year, that will be held I think in September. For example, one important invited is Hawking, which is going to give even a talk at Tenerife. It's the first time that he leave home. And at this moment, and there are very important musicians that participate in this festival. Other thing is, for example, there is another way to light up the night, switch on the star. This is the world night. And every year, in the equinox of the spring equinox, there is a night, world night, to switch off the lights. This is other project. And here, I want you only to show you the Starlight web page. At this moment, only in Spanish, but will be in English very soon. And I can give you the address. And finally, let me show you this video, this movie.
Would you turn off his smile? Would you extinguish his life? Would you remove its color? Then why switch off the sky? There is another way to light up the night.
And that's all. Many thanks for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have anything to add to the presentation? Did you have anything to add to the presentation? Did you? Yes. Do you? Okay. I didn't want to go to questions if you were waiting to.
Yes. For tourism.
Okay.
Now? Okay. No, I don't. It summarized everything in the presentation of Antonia Varela. Yes, well, in the subject of tourism, of course, it's a lot of parameters that we take into account for the audit of tourism, more than 100 parameters. So it's we could say we summarize all those parameters in different kind of things that we could summarize in products. What you have, so the ¿cómo se dice? Los productos,
Resources.
Resources. The resources, so the resources that exist in a place, the products that they are in a place, the voluntary of the private elements of the area, so the companies that act in that area already, or that companies that could be in that area making activities. So the professionals in the tourism field, also services, all inside the services, so hotels, transports, everything that has something to do with tourism, no? And yeah, natural resources. There's more or less that what we audit, no, in a destiny. But I tell you, it's not something that I had to make a presentation today, because this is something very intern also of the audit. No, it's something I can explain to you if you have questions. What do you audit? Then I can explain to you more. But normally we don't say all the parameters that we have to audit. That's why the foundation has no order to me to say to you all those parameters, to explain to you all of them. No?
Thank you. Any questions of the?
Well, thank you, Ms. Sanchez, and thank you, Ms. Morales. It was a fantastic presentation. Thank you. I enjoyed the trip out to the Tuscan Islands last night. It's a shame it was as foggy as it was, but it was a great trip and learned a lot. And learned a lot more during the presentation. And thank you certainly for coming to Southwest Nova Scotia to, in addition to the biosphere that we have here currently, the UNESCO Biosphere. It's nice to see you here mapping other possibilities with dark sky, and again, that's a fantastic asset that we have in the area. Certainly, the natural landscape and the relative lack of artificial light, and I guess it's something to be prized and cherished in the future and developed for all the reasons that you outline in your presentation. So I thank you, and just a sort of parting comment. I hope your stay here goes well and the audit goes well for all of us, and we can work together on an ongoing basis. It would be appreciated if you could leave behind the presentation, if that's possible.
Yeah, sure. I want to prepare with the foundation a little bit with the logos and the protection and all these things required, and I can send you by email if you agree to present in anywhere if you want to present. But I need to prepare a little bit and to interact several things to have a close presentation, but there will be no problem at all. Even there is no problem if we need our advisor or anything, then we are really feel free to contact us to give an information. As we told you yesterday, this is the first step. The certification is the first step for the collaboration to try to help you. To help you to protect and to promote this area, no?
Well, on behalf of the residents we all represent, thank you very much for your efforts.
Thank you too.
I guess the one question would be, and you've spoken about it just briefly here, sort of the next steps and sort of timelines, that type of thing. If you could just comment on that for the audience.
Sure. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. The next steps? You mean the next steps?
Yeah.
Well, now we are in the moment that we are testing. What the information I got before coming here. Now we are here and we have to prove that what exists and what exists not. Normally, it has to be a minimum standard of quality in the services that you have already, and also the voluntary of having and improve in those what you want to offer here with tourism and what you want to offer with your keeping the environment, and what you want to do also with your plans of electric, so the lights and so on. So these are the three main subjects, no? And also, don't forget, the education is also important to integrate it in the plans that you have for Starlight. It's very, very important too. And so, I could say those things are the most important in summaries, that we have to prove that they are together with the mentality of a Starlight Initiative. And when we finish our staying here, we have to study all the information that we get also staying here. Normally it lasts more or less 1 month, 2 months. Then we made the final report as an inform about all the things we have to study in all the aspects. There are many. And now we have August holidays time. So we probably don't have this inform until October, I think, because we will be back at the end June, and then August it's holidays. So September we will try to make it everything as soon as possible, in 1 month maybe. And yeah, probably at the beginning of October could be this report given to the foundation. Yeah, the foundation will tell you if it's right, if you can be a reserve and a destiny, or just a reserve or just a destiny. Hopefully both. I understand it's important for you, and we always say that we want to help places that have a compromise. So when we audit, we are not so strict that you have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect already, but it's important that you want to be perfect in the future, or the best perfect that you can be. Yeah, perfection, it doesn't exist, no? But I mean, especially when we talk about destinations, there's a lot of things that you can do, but we have to be careful, because when we do too many things, sometimes you destroy the nature, and you also want, there's a lot of people, they want to do fast money, as we always say in the tourism field, no? And this is not something that a Starlight Initiative likes, no? We want, as the point of view of tourism, we want quality products. We don't want things that everybody can do and say, what's this? No? It happens also in places that they are also already destinies. They have come, some tour operators, they want to do fast money, and they bring a lot of tourists, and they just have a couple of wines, and they see double stars, and they don't know the truth about the universe. There's a guide without formation, telling wrong stories about science, and this is something that we don't want that happen in a Starlight destination. So I tell you this also because even if we help you to be a destination, we will be also controlling you in the future time, and not only you, all the destinations are controlled during all the life. And after 4 years, we have another audit of the place. So we could also take out to remove the certification to the place. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. But
So that's important, because yeah,
To improve.
in one side we want helping the countries and the places to develop, but in the right way. And if it's not in the right way, then we don't want to help anymore. We want that it's not a wrong thing.
In addition, that Marta said, for example, in astronomical conditions, you can't improve the cloudiness, for example, or the steam conditions, the atmospheric properties or quality. However, you can improve the sky brightness, the transparency, avoiding air atmospheric pollution, and especially the light pollution. Then in this sense, we invite you to contact the foundation, Starlight Foundation, if you require any technical report regarding the adaptation or the lamps, or for example, the use of LED, or the sodium of low pressure, but calid nor cold. Any that do you need, you can ask for, and the OTPC you should issue lighting certificates or lighting reports.
Yeah, and in the other aspect of develop of tourism, there's also another point that probably we have to do it for you. It's a consultancy after getting the certification, if it's like that. As we can, the foundation helps with the technical things about lighting. Also helps to develop the product of tourism. So we are specialized already to helping places with right to explore the right products of every place. No, every place has different characters. We study the place, and then we recommend in this consultancy what's the best to do in your area. Of course, at the end, it's you, the one who make it. But we recommend you what should be the best to orienteer every place to do this or to do that. No? So always foundation is trying to help places. No, so don't let you alone. Never.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I'm very excited about this opportunity, because I think it takes one of our limitations is the lack of development,
Yeah.
and it turns that to an asset, and I think that's an exciting process.
Yeah.
One of the issues that we're exploring right now, and we have been, is the fact that we have to undertake to switch out all of our lights, our street lights.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely want to be in touch with the OTPC to get recommendations on street light densities and technologies, because we have to look into that right now, probably before your report is finished.
Yes, maybe it's not necessary to move or switch off, but to adapt. Without glasses, and to take some screen or something like that to use or to change the lamps. No, and then the adaptation is quite important, and then you can receive all information that you need to do that.
Okay.
Even not only the OTPC, but also other enterprise lighting specialized in this in Europe. We know several enterprise specializes in this subject, no?
Okay.
And then we can provide information that you need to do the things convenient.
Thank you. Thanks again for being here.
Many thanks.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both for coming in. It was very informative, and it's been a help to council, and we'll be changing out lights and stuff. So thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, we have to go.
Well, you can stay.
Okay.
But we're going to carry on with the meeting.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, sorry, but I don't understand now. It's because, sorry, but sometimes I don't understand your voice. It
Okay.
happened to me yesterday night too. I don't know, but it's maybe your tone. It's
Okay.
It's
I
difficult to me
do-
to understand you. Sorry.
Okay, so if there's no more questions, you're free to, if you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, to have a seat back there,
Okay.
or if you have somewhere else you have to
We
be.
can keep here.
But
Sure.
what it is on now?
Oh, it's finished. No, Marta, nos podemos
It's
ir, que
finished.
ya está acabado, que si queremos nos sentamos detrás o nos vamos.
For this part, but for
Yes.
all of the time for us today,
If there is no question,
tonight, to now,
No, that's right.
we should have to wait or
No, no.
no?
You're free to go. Wait,
Okay.
okay. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So, finito.
Okay.
So,
We have
sorry.
more business, other business to carry on.
So you
okay?
have another meeting now
Yes.
right here. Okay, that's why I didn't
Okay, I'm
understand
sorry.
why everybody says and we
Yeah.
go. It's sorry.
Look, thank you for both for coming in.
Thanks
Okay.
to you too for staying here. Normally, we also try to find out more things of your voluntary goals, no, in the light control of the lights, also in the education and also in the tourist aspects. No, I don't know if here there's someone in church specialized of one of those subjects, or in church, I mean. So here there's someone in charge of tourism of
Actually,
this
I'm the
area.
chairman of the local tourism association, and that's any initiative that we can do to try to get new visitors here. And economic development and tourism, as far as I'm concerned, works hand in hand. And anything that we have as an asset is certainly a help to our area. And as Councillor or Deputy Warden Paquette had mentioned, that that's something that we really have to be looking at. And an underdeveloped area is not necessarily a bad thing. We really have to improve on the assets we have, and being in contact with you people, as long as since we're going to be changing out our street lights and stuff, that's certainly an asset. So it's something that I've been working very closely with Charles and Vaughn out at
Vaughn,
Trout Point.
yeah.
And they certainly know who I am, and I've been in close contact with him all throughout this process, and been a big advocate of this whole process.
Thanks. Sure. Okay.
The Starlight to the astrotourism with your projects also in tourism.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And the education is someone here who's representing the education and field of Yarmouth.
¿Habían cerrado la
Yeah,
sesión?
No, I mean if it's also if you take it also into account to educate the schools, the children in the astronomy.
The Starlight, I think Marta is saying that the Starlight try to promote the
Yeah.
formation, both of the stakeholders, children, the society, the public in general, no? It's quite important that the society feel that this is important for them also, no? Sorry.
Yes, and I think maybe all of those questions they're separate entities. Like we have a school board that deals with education, so this council doesn't deal directly with
It's not.
education.
Okay.
But that perhaps we could leave Mr. Moses, our CAO's card with you, and if you have those questions as to who he may be able to arrange
All right.
through our council, through this entity, you know, the contact persons for each of those pieces. I happen to work in the education system, so that piece
Perfect.
he could talk to me about and so forth, and I could share that with others certainly. I guess the other issue around the lighting and those types of things, if you're to contact Mr. Moses, he could give you some advice as to which people, depending on a particular facet of lighting that you'd like to look at,
Okay.
that we could get you in touch with and have conversations and get that information for you.
Okay, that would be good. Yep. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
thanks for
Okay.
for also your interest in this project.
The last thing that this is the first, I think this is the first Starlight or reserve would be the first Canadian Starlight reserve or destination. It's the first one. Here we go, finito.
Well, it was definitely, I think, for those of us, we enjoyed last night. It was a nice trip down to the Islands, and thank you both. It was good.
Next trip like that has to be during the
Daytime.
day.
Yeah.
The sunset, and then stargazing and come back with the stars.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because you have to be the last.
Yeah.
You have to be the last.
Okay. Thank you. Harold? Yeah, yeah?
We haven't approved the agenda.
Okay,
Presented.
good point.
Okay.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Any additions? Do we have a seconder for that?
I have
An addition?
addition.
Okay.
I like under new business 6.3, the Hurricane Arthur and Nova Scotia Power.
Okay. Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Harold? No, just press your red button, Harold, and I'll turn you on.
Well, good evening, all. You all rested up from the windstorm? Yeah, we did have quite a windstorm. Just, I don't know what actually you want to hear, so how come I'm echoing here? Am I that loud? Well, I started on July 1st, I guess, just after the festivities, looking at this in the evening. And I could see the storm forming off of Florida. Now, one of the things nice about storms that form off Florida, although this one's a little bit of an exception, they don't get too bad. It's the storms that form out in the Lesser Antilles and out towards Africa and that sea that really create the hazard because of the heat. So, and then last year we had several of them start down there. Fortunately, they went west to the Gulf and didn't bother us at all. So, but this one decided to form after a while, and then we started getting sort of updates from Environment Canada, and we watch three different areas, three different stations that provide us with information. NOAA's one, and I got a couple others that we look at and see if they all agree. So anyway, we started out on the 2nd, getting updates. It didn't tell us much because nothing had really formed. Gave us some pictures and that sort of thing, which is a normal thing that we get. And then on the 3rd, it started to look a little bit more like it was going to do something. And it was then 400 kilometers southeast of Cape Hatteras. It had moved a little bit up the coast. Actually, the thing had been sitting there. And it gave us a track to the east side of Nova Scotia. In other words, the track at that time was going to put the storm in the eastern shore, or the eye of the storm. You got to always remember, when they talk about a track and where it's going, it depends on how big it is. And the eye is the thing that they always plot. But the eye is the smallest portion of any of these storms. And this one grew in intensity as it came up here, which is unusual. So anyway, then on the 3rd, we got our next report. Actually, on the one on the 2nd, I got to look at my notes here. We were in the clear. They were looking at, we were going to have wind, but not strong wind, really strong wind. The heaviest rain was the valley and Digby and up that way, and the heaviest wind was just short of us. So the center of going up there was a strip of nothing really too bad. Then on the 4th, it moved, as these things always do. And it came so that it was going to cross between us and Digby someplace, it looked like. Some of the other storms we've had have done some funny tricks, and this was no different. So again, we're now not going to get much rain, but we are going to get some wind. And because we're on the windy side of the eye, basically. And when you look at a storm to the right, looking at it up towards north, is the windy side, the other side is the rainy side. So if we're going to get any storm surges and stuff, they're going to be when we're on the windy side. There were no storm surges predicted. We didn't expect any because we were at low tide when this thing was going to come in. When I got up in the morning on Saturday, it was 64 kilometers north of us, or south of us, excuse me. And then and that's when it decided to change its position again and ended up in the Bay of Fundy. It did come across or hit pretty close to Port Maitland and Meteghan, up in that area, but then it just pushed itself more west into the Bay of Fundy. So it actually rode out through the Bay of Fundy. So, and it sort of slowed down a bit and sat there. So that's why we got all the extra wind. We got 52 millimeters of rain, which is a little bit more than they had expected, I think. But the wind velocity stayed, I think ours total wind, and I forgot to look at that, was around 112 gusts, not steady wind. Steady wind would have been between 70 and 80 kh. So, and away it went. We're still cleaning up the mess. And the power company had a struggle because there was so much down, and there was no place to get any help from because New Brunswick was down too. So then New Brunswick finally got some from Quebec and Maine, but they had a big job to try to get the power back up, and they're still working at it. This end of the province is pretty well cleared up. I got a report this afternoon, and there's some stuff in Argyle, Wedgeport that's still down, and then up for a little bit further. But what it is one street or one house or something like that, 2 or 3 houses. But majority of the stuff is solved. And so I was in the office, of course, till night, every day, up early in the morning, and decided to go up to Hebron because I wasn't sure what was going on up there and how much power was out. So we decided to go up to Hebron and take a look and realized that there was a tree down across the roadway, or the driveway, and took down the wires. So I knew we would be on generator. We had filled, we had put, we didn't fill, we had put fuel in the generator, topped it off a little bit in June. So I said, guess I better go up there and look. And here's this tree. Well, as you know, I don't walk very well anymore. But I crawled through the middle of this tree. I had Max with me. And we walked up there, and I looked up. I said, there's lights inside that building. Get to find out there's a whole bunch of kids there. These bikers. I didn't know anything was there because I wouldn't know anyway. So anyway, we got there and realized that we were going to have to get some more fuel. And there was fuel there, so we put it in. 60 liters was sitting there. And we put that in the generator and kept it going. And then we went back Sunday afternoon and cut the tree in half, or not in half, but over on the other side. And then I hooked it to my truck and pulled it out of the way so it was against the bank. And then we cut the branches off on the side on the driveway so we could get up in there with fuel and stuff, and which we did. And there was a car there. I don't know when the car was left there, but when I went up there the first time, there was a car sitting there. I said, oh, I don't think you're gonna go too far. But anyway, that's life. So anyway, we've been adding fuel to it, and today I had to repair a lock up there and get the thing going. And we're still, of course, they still haven't fixed the wires going up there, so we're still on the generator up there. So that generator is run quite a few days now, and 4 anyway, and it's still running. So probably I delivered a second load of fuel up there this afternoon, and I assume Max will go in tomorrow and load up the generator again with some more fuel. So hopefully they'll get up there and fit it. One of the things that I thought was done a long time ago is that was put on the critical infrastructure list, but apparently it's not. So we'll have to do that. And that will give us hopefully some quicker response to the outage in that area. So, other than that, we didn't really staff. I was in there and I had the radio guys in on Saturday morning because I expected a bunch of phone calls, but somebody else was using Facebook and taking all the phone calls, so that was left us off the hook. So we didn't get a lot, so I sent them home around 1 o'clock, and I stayed there myself and the odd person. Other than that, there's not a lot to report because it really wasn't much of a storm for us. I mean, it was windy and it knocked a lot of trees down and knocked a lot of branches down and stuff like that, but in the grand scheme of things, we didn't have to move anybody. There was no evacuations required. People could look after themselves by Saturday afternoon. I went in Saturday morning and stopped at Sobeys and took some stuff in the office just in case. And my wife went in during the day on Saturday and picked up some food that we could use for supper. By Saturday late afternoon, the stores along Stars Road were open. Most of Main Street was open. Restaurants were open. I remember going by Lotus Gardens and it was full plus. And so people could get something to eat. There really weren't a lot of hardships. There may be some houses damaged, but nobody was hurt, nobody was injured. We didn't have to get any emergency services out. Basically it was, for us, and it was a pretty simple little, time-consuming, yes. We always like to go to the tattoo on the 4th. We didn't go this year. I got the tickets, anybody wants to take them and use them, but We didn't get there this year. That's the third tattoo I've missed since it started. So, but other than that, that's basically the storm in a nutshell. Questions?
Thank you, Harold. Leland, did you have your mic on?
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Harold, just a couple of quick questions. The generator running up at the Rotary Center, why do we have to have power up there now? What does the generator?
We have a lot of our auxiliary radio equipment is up there, and we want to keep that running.
Oh, okay. The other quick couple of questions was, I was in talk with you on Saturday, as was Phil Mooney. I learned a valuable lesson on this one. Thank God it was in the summertime. But when I went to town for fuel, because inadvertently on Friday, I was tired, I didn't go in and get fuel on Friday night, knowing that a storm was coming, which I should have done.
That's two of
So
us.
on Saturday when I went, there was no stations open while they were all out of power. And you mentioned, because we were just in the discussion about Carlton Outfitters up in Carlton, John's store, had a generator, standby generator running for fuel, and at Guy Surratt out there, the Ultramar. So I took the closest option and went to, no offense, John, I went to the Ultramar in Tuscott. But it was a valuable lesson, and I want to bring it up, was when I parked on the road in the lineup for fuel, every one of the pumps was being used. And there was a lineup going down the road and coming across the bridge, okay, their overpass. There was that many cars, they were lined up. So it told me a lot of people are not prepared. We're falling down somewhere in that area through the municipal units of promoting that out there. I should have had fuel, I didn't, and I realize that you can make a mistake, but there was too many of us out there that had made that mistake, and I was only there for about, I'll say 45 minutes getting my fuel, and there, when I left, there was still a lineup. So it's not a good thing. We're not telling the people, it's good to have 72 hours supply, yeah, but you also need fuel. Remember that. Hey, that's an important thing, and it was a good learning experience. You have a comment, I take it.
Yeah, I do. I think we've been preaching to the choir for too long.
Okay. Well,
we're out there all the time. Not only are we out there, Power Corp's out there, Red Cross is out there. We go over and over and over this stuff too much. Mm-hmm. And I made a comment to the mayor, and I'll make it here. When she called me about an issue, I said, listen, Madam Mayor, we can go too far. We're making sissies out of the public. They can't look after themselves. You know, and this is a real concern that I have. We want to do everything to make sure that people are okay when they get in serious trouble, but we don't want to do too much, because then they won't look after themselves. I mean, I've got a whole area in my jurisdiction, that area that I'm looking after, that can't look after themselves, and I know that.
Yeah.
And I put them up, if you remember the December storm before Christmas one year, I put them up before the 72-hour thing goes by. And the 72-hour doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but and I even preached it that day.
Yes.
You know, you've got to get out there and get yourself set up with fuel, cash,
Yeah.
you know, all that kind of stuff has to be. Food, you know, it's food that you don't need to cook,
Right.
you know. I really think the problem that I see, now I could be wrong, is that we're on this bandwagon all the time, and these storms come up and everybody starts getting excited, and they start going out making all sorts of notices and Facebook and all this junk, and nothing happens. The storm goes the other way.
Yeah.
So they're saying, come on, how many times are you going to cry wolf? You know? So I think that's part of the problem.
You could be right there.
And I think that people, oh yeah, another windstorm's coming, big deal. We've had, this one, when it started, somebody called me, I said, yeah, it's a northeaster, you don't think it's coming out of the south.
Yeah. Well, my other point, you brought, thank God it was the summertime because 99% of the people went out and barbecued.
Yeah.
But my first point really that I wanted to make was when you first started speaking there about the eye of the storm and so on, and then all of a sudden it was 64 miles up the Bay of Fundy.
Oh, and over that way.
Yeah,
It was
went over that
61
way.
miles in front of
Went
us.
over that way. But
We
where
did
was
have
it?
the eye.
Yeah, it was supposed to come right on.
Directly for us is 64 kilometers south of us, direct path. And it shifted, so we got maybe a quarter of the eye. That if you
Yeah.
remember, it died off in the morning there for a short period of time. There was nothing, and probably the sun was even out.
Yeah.
And that cocoon that I'm in, I go in in the morning and I come out in the evening and it's raining. And when I went in, it was sunny. So I don't know what's going on half the
Well-
time. But anyway, we did see the eye, part of the eye go past us, but just part of the eye.
Well, I guess my point is, and I've said it, and as I said on EMO, John and Murray, or the warden, that one of these days it's going to hit. Now, if that had come ashore, or like where it was supposed to, we probably wouldn't be sitting here this evening. We'd all be out helping, because it would be twice as bad as what it was
Yeah.
in reality. So I guess the point that I want to make, because we're televised, is one of these times, it's going to hit right up the Yarmouth Harbor, and it's going to come ashore, and it's going to hurt. So this is the first eye opener, because Ken, we've spoken, it's going to happen, and this is the first of the summer. Wait until this fall, everything gets a little, August and so on. I hope we don't get any, but it's going to happen, and I
Well-
just want to make that as a point.
If you remember, I said at the executive meeting, I guess probably the last one or the one just before that, that I have never been overly concerned about the weather here because of the geographic nature and everything else that goes on. But this year I'm getting more concerned because weather patterns have changed. They are not doing what we've seen for years.
Yeah.
And the stuff, even this storm, was stronger than we expected it to be, and what the weather people were telling us it was going to be, because that's the way things are happening these days. And if we see one start in the Lesser Antilles or out in the off the coast of Africa there, I think I'm going to try to find a plane that'll take me out of here because they're really getting hot and they're getting big. And even the ones that we had last year that we didn't get, but went out, were heavy storms. And things have changed. And look at all of the stuff that's going on down through the U.S. with tornadoes and stuff. Even this storm had a tornadic effect to it in a couple spots. So
My one
we're in for it.
My one last little comment, if I may, Mr. Warden, is to you, Harold. Thank you very much for your dedication to that organization. I really appreciate it in my residence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harold, for coming in and giving us that update. I do have one question. Where does EMO get their power outage updates from?
Environment Canada. A power outage from
Power
Nova Scotia
outages.
Power. Nova Scotia Power.
Nova Scotia Power has proven over the past little bit to be very inaccurate. I can name off, I'll start naming them off. Canaan Road, Wilson Road, the Hamilton Road, the Perry Road, Lake Annis Road. Those roads are all without power, and that's been a big concern. And one thing that's really disturbing that happened to me last night when I was out clearing my yard was Nova Scotia Power called my house to inform me that my power was on. My power ain't on. I live on the Hamilton Road. I don't know where they're getting their information from, but something, I don't know if it's up to the EMO executive to make a motion for you to bring it forward to Nova Scotia Power, but something's got to be done about that automated power outage system. That's one of the biggest complaints that I've heard. I can think of 300 residents at least just out in my district alone right now that do not have power, and we don't expect to have power. As a matter of fact, the road that I live on, it was just today or this evening before I come out here that they started actually clearing a few limbs. There's a few humongous oak trees down on my road. Now my road has only affected 6 families. However, down the Kelly Road, there's about 20 down there, full-time residents. the Perry Road, there's a lot of cottages down there. However, there is about another 10 residents, full-time residents. The Canaan Road is another area. That's a lot of summertime residents. And even just found out this evening before I come here, there was someone that still couldn't get out of their driveway and stuff. So our next EMO meeting, I'd like us to talk about sending a letter to Nova Scotia Power, or have a meeting with Nova Scotia Power about their automated power outage system, because number one, I don't understand how it works. I've heard on the radio that they were talking about that they don't consider an outage as less than 100 people on a certain area. And that's just information I heard. I'd like some clarification on
Well, I can
on some
show
of
you all that
stuff.
information. I've got that, and that's pretty accurate. They don't consider a major outage unless it's quite a bit of people, and they start, and that's the way they go. If there's 3,000 people out of power up here and 500 down here, they'll start up there
Yeah.
to put the 5,000 back online. I'm not sure when my next Nova Scotia EMO executive meeting is, but
That's something that I just thought
that
should
will
be
definitely come up at that meeting for sure, because Nova Scotia Power attends those meetings.
Especially when they call up the residents that they only got a hold of me by my cell phone because my landline is down, which it was kind of entertaining that they said, well, your power's on the Pleasant Valley area. I said, oh no, it's not in all areas. Oh yes, it is. And they were this is an actual person that called me and talked with me, and that actually made me quite upset. I didn't mention that I was a counselor or anything like that. I said, you guys better go and reevaluate. As a matter of fact, they were sending some of the heavy equipment away even before they had some of the heavy trees off of the lines. Now, I'm talking about trees, nothing big around that I could reach around. I'm talking about oak trees that are 200-300 years old that a tractor would have to yank away, and that's what these Bing Bombardier and some of their excavators and stuff are around here for. So I don't know if they were moving to another area that was more affected than us, or what it was, but we certainly don't have no input. But it really got to me when they called me and said I had power and started to argue with me on the phone, and that really upset me.
That would upset me.
So we really should have I don't know if council will or would decide, because Councillor Anthony decided to add another agenda item, 6.3, in regards to Nova Scotia Power. So we really got to sit down with somebody and try to figure this out, because it's still affecting a lot of people, and I personally don't expect to get power up my road until next week.
The report that I got today or this afternoon said that all of those places would be cleared up by Friday at 9 o'clock at night. Well, whether they will be or not, I don't know. I even had a call from an electrician, wanted to know what I could do for him. I said nothing before he even asked the question. And he said, you know, we're going around fixing up the service centers and stuff, but the trees are still out. And I said, yeah, they're not looking at the onesies and twosies right now. They'll be looking at the onesies and twosies next week, because they got to get these big things out of the way first. And they've had major power outages. In fact, the valley's still in big trouble. I think Halifax is okay now, but up the shore there's still really big bunches that aren't going.
It was just communication with.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem they've had, and they've had for years, is a communications problem. And we've tried to stress that to them, but yeah, what can I do?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Richardson, thank you. You're to be applauded for your efforts, and I'm really glad to hear that. And it's been tremendously inconvenient for a lot of people, and there's a lot of, but that nobody's hurt. That's the main thing, which is important. Having said that, maybe we'll have our CAO make a few comments about the pickup of the waste that's come down, you know, on next week and so forth. And I can say that our senior safety coordinator is going to be making contacts with many of the seniors in the area to ensure that, you know, everything's all right with them and their needs are attended to, and that municipal staff will be, you know, responding to issues or any difficulties that they have. So we have talked about that certainly, And so that's a good thing. So, we're going to try to do the best we can do, and I'm just glad that, through your efforts and others, that nobody's injured.
Yeah,
Thank you.
provincially, in fact, I even made this comment to our executive here a while ago. What people forget about, they look at the storm, they forget about the big cleanup time afterwards. And we probably haven't had that much in the past, except for that December storm. But this is one example of that. In fact, I'm on a committee, provincially committee, to come up with the recovery process, if you please. And in fact, I was just looking at that much paper I've already started with, and I got to finish that up. And I got involved because I started a recovery process for us. I'm not too concerned about the provincial government, but process for us to add to our plan. Our plan has grown and will continue to grow in size. I've already presented them with several different documents, and I can remember when I took this job, you probably want to hear all this, but when I took this job on as a volunteer, and I'm still a volunteer, must be 15 years ago now, Ken, at least, if not more. And I could go in once a month and do some stuff. And I can remember getting calls from other people that were adding this job to their community and wanted to know how many hours. And I made the comment one day, probably about 40 hours a month you could plan on. I'm lucky to get through some weeks with 40 hours a week. Now it just keeps growing. The job just keeps growing. So we're finding that, and we're finding it, and it's going to grow. It's got to grow, because I'm telling you, fellas, believe me or not, and I'm not a soothsayer or anything, and I don't have any environmental great knowledge, but we're going to get hit this year. In fact, I've got to go to New Jersey in October, and I said, well, we'll make the hotel reservations. I have to go because something my wife's involved with, but we may not get there, just like we didn't get to the tattoo. Because here, we don't really look for major storms until October, November. Mm-hmm. When our water warms up out here. But we'll be starting to look under there. So I've made the reservations today. I didn't make the boat reservation. I got to find out if I can get my money back on that, because I couldn't get it back on the tattoo. So if I can get my money back, fine. Now I'll make reservations. Otherwise, we'll be waiting to the last minute to make reservations. So I look at those storms, where they start and where they go. So that's the way it is.
The comments about the amount of time that it takes to do this job is a good segue, because I had a couple of people in my community who have extensive backgrounds in emergency management, and indicating that they'd like to be involved. And I wonder if is there a way for people to plug into this work?
Sure.
Just to call you directly?
Yeah. What happened this year, which was really unusual, is I was sort of encouraged to put notices out on City Watch in town, which I did. And I said, tell them, what do we do when they don't understand? I said, you just 74, and I forgot to have them put that on that notice that I sent out. 742-8558, 24/7. I mean, when you had the storm in March, I was in Florida with a whole list of people that we were going to send the City Watch notice out to, until I had a conference call and it wasn't going to materialize. And I'm not going to send out a City Watch notice to people just to get them all stirred up. And again, I don't want to cry wolf too many times, but I was sitting down there and I said, okay. And then they had a conference call. In fact, Ken was down there at the same time, and I said, I didn't send anything out because we weren't gonna get much, and we didn't get much. We got something, but we get storms all the time. You gotta look at the severity and what it's gonna affect and who it's gonna affect. And what can they do for themselves, and then what we're gonna have to pick up and do for them. Like, you know, we put an announcement out the other day that they could go to the Mariner Center and take showers. Unfortunately, the mayor got a very, very, very nasty email or Facebook thing from some guy who expected that we would have the Mariner Center open and we'd be feeding them and blah, 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 blah. And I said, we don't feed, all the restaurants are open. We can't take the place of private business, and the grocery stores are all open. You could go get something and take it home, you know? And we're not in the business of filling for private business, in place of private business. If we're all out and we've got 1,000 people at the Mariner Center, we're gonna feed them there. It's as simple as that.
Mhm.
But, you know, to go on with this is crazy. And I said to her, you wanna be careful. So, that's how.
So if people want to volunteer in this role, they should call you directly.
Yeah.
The other question that came in, sort of similar to the Mariner Center, but people asking about local facilities, like, you know, could the local fire hall be open with a hot meal when the power's out, that kind of thing.
And that's happened before. We've used those community centers. Carlton was a good example of that back in that December storm. We used, they opened up there, and they can do that. That's fine.
Is that on their own prerogative? That's not part of the policy?
Yeah. The only time that's anything else is when community services and myself agree that they should open up, and then if they've got the numbers, well, then once it's established, like Carlton or those people at that time, we had the director of community services on the phone, and they could be covered. So, but financially.
Okay.
But otherwise, we have to approve that.
So that's where the money comes from for that, through community services, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're the ones that sort of pay the bill, and their criteria is any group over 25 people.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm sure that you can do that, but it's just not and this time, we probably wouldn't have paid for anybody because we just didn't need to. We just didn't have the, you know,
Didn't have the
reasoning
need.
to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that's come up, and it's been alluded to a little bit, is this, you know, the pickup of organic materials, which isn't on your.
Well, it's cleanup, but really the decision's been made that they can take it to the landfill free of charge.
Yeah.
And I notice an awful lot of people doing that.
Right.
And good, they should
Yeah.
do that, you know. There's a house on Vancouver Street, just before you get to the hospital, after Bill Dares' place there.
Yeah.
He's got a humongous
I
tree
know.
down. My son-in-law was by, I said, go down and knock on his door and say, you'll clean up the tree. There's a year's worth of firewood in that
Right.
tree. But they're cleaning it up today, I understand, so.
When the only other thought that I would leave is when you're looking at the next generation of the policy, or doing this work with the province, I feel like there's an opportunity to have more people at the local level involved with this kind of preparation, and then maybe being go-to people in the event of an incident. If there was a plan, or almost like a toolkit that would say, okay, for Port Maitland or for Beaver River, you know, these are some steps you can take. Identify a emergency response champion, you know, identify a couple of, you know, who's got the trucks that are willing to pick up the stuff after the storm, and who's got generators, and, you know, sort of like an asset mapping from an emergency management perspective?
We have that.
You have that?
Somebody calls me and says, I need to know where I can get a truck, I can tell you where to go. Now, again, they're gonna have to pay for it,
Yeah,
unless we've declared a local state of emergency. There is no reason to declare a local state of emergency in this incident.
okay,
Okay, we did that, with the dam a couple years ago.
right,
Up the line, but, there was no real need to do that at this time. We don't wanna use those kind of tools because it puts those people on the hook too.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
but yeah, we do have a binder, yo thick of services and things, and we have to update it just about every year.
Right. Do we have, is that online or is that,
No, it's not online.
okay. Can we get it online?
I'd have to think about that.
Okay. Can you get back to me on that?
Yeah,
All right.
I have to think about that because, there's some,
There might be some
there
confidential.
would be some concerns on the local contractors' parts.
Right. So maybe there's a subset.
Yeah,
They could
all they gotta do is call us and we can,
Yeah.
you know, find out what's going on and then steer them. More than, it's like comfort centers or reception centers.
Yeah.
I'm always questions. I get phone calls all the time about where are they?
Right.
I said, I'll tell you when the emergency hits. Because, you know, for instance, we do know the Mariner Center is equipped with a generator and can be used. But we have to be somewhat judicious on how we do that.
Mm.
And if I tell everybody where all the comfort centers are, they're just gonna go there and then we're not gonna have any control.
Right.
And our Red Cross doesn't have a lot of people.
That's right.
We can do one center with them, and that's about it. Even though it's their job to do this stuff. And so.
That's all the more reason to step up with the community development stuff.
Well, and I've put that out before, and it was never taken. I mean, I've got a whole plan on that,
Okay.
but we couldn't seem to get it to go, so I dropped it. I'll
Well,
do
maybe
it
it's a
again.
time to try
I'll do it again, you know, but I'm always willing to help out wherever I can.
Okay.
And funny you mentioned that because I just was looking at that. I was only in the office for about an hour and I was so darn tired from running with fuel and fixing locks and everything else today that I didn't expect to do. I looked at that day and I said, oh my, I wonder if it's time to raise that again.
Yeah.
You know, but.
Yeah, not to mention a secession plan.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have like a lot of the information and experience. You
Yeah,
know?
we've been at it for quite a while.
Yeah.
I've been in the emergency services for over 50 years.
Wow.
So
So do you got a
I came out of the service
prodigy?
in 1962 in New Jersey, and I've been doing it ever since.
Wow.
So
Well, thanks for everything you do.
I do the best I can with what I have to work with.
Okay. Harold, thank you for coming in. I see no more lights, so thank you for the update.
Good.
Okay.
Take care. Have a good night.
We'll move on to Business Horizon. You have the email there from the Hospital Foundation. Do you, council, wish to appoint someone on that tonight, or do you want to discuss that at the next meeting, who we will put on there for Representative Leland?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Are we looking for a citizen rep, or were they looking for a political or an elected official?
Well, we don't have any citizen reps that want to sit on it, and we haven't put elected officials, but they're saying that they don't mind if we want to put an elected official. They have no problem with it, so I guess that's the decision for us to make.
Well, if I may, Mr. Chair, I'm not interested in any respects. I would think that a citizen rep would be, because the charitable foundation is going out there and doing sponsorships, or trying to find sponsorships and doing good things for the hospital. Not that an elected official wouldn't, but I think within our municipality, we should have somebody out there that we could come up with that would be more than willing to sit on a committee of that magnitude, because they do good work, and you know, just thinking off the top of my head, Dave, Mr. Armberg, there's a person there that I would think would possibly, if he had the time, but I mean, that's my own opinion. I'd like to see a citizen rep if we decide to go that route.
Actually, we had talked about this a couple years ago now. It's actually almost 3 years ago. That council at that time had decided to seek a citizen nomination to appoint, to recommend appointment to that board. And that was our response at the time. So that was then, but now they're asking again, so it's up to council, I guess, whether they want to seek a citizen appointment or make a council appointment.
Could I recommend that we forward this in camera, and we're going to have to be, we've been flipping back emails back and forth there for several months now with the foundation, and either we're going to have to, no one's come forth, we're going to have to either approach some private individuals or we'll have to put a representative on there. So if no objections, can we put that? Okay, Trevor?
It just like some additional information. When are the meetings typically held? Are they daytime meetings, evening meetings? Does anybody know that?
Ken may, I don't know. Ken? No, we'll find out, Trevor. Okay. We'll get that for you too, Rick, okay? Steve?
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Just for future, maybe any time that we need an appointee, whether it's one of us or a citizen rep, if we could just have a standard sort of template that says, this is the commitment, this is description of the organization, this is the time commitment expected, etc. So we don't have to fumble around every time. We can just send out that description to our channels and hopefully find community members to step up, or at least we'll have the information to make a decision. Thank you.
In defense of staff, they have brought this forward several times, and we've just kind of kept kicking it down the street. So I guess at the next meeting, we'll have to come to Ken.
Yeah, the deputy warden makes a good point there. What was being asked before was for them to come up with a suggestion and for council to okay it. So originally we thought they were going to approach somebody that lived in the municipality to sit there. So they would have explained to them that information. That's why we don't have the details. But it's a good point that for any positions, if we're going to do it, we should know basically what the position outline is and the time requirements.
Okay, thank you. You have, for information, the school board review process that's been back on, and we do have a representative that sits on that. So that was basically to keep us up to date. Moving on to new business, we have the June development report. Have you all had a chance to review that? And if so, would someone recommend that we, Councillor Churchill?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the June development report.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary, nay. Thank you, gentlemen. 6.2 is organic pickup. I'll let the deputy warden speak to that first, since your name is on that, and then anybody wants to add to it. Or you can basically bring them up to what we have, where we're going with that. So.
Right. So as many of you have received a lot of phone calls, a lot of questions about organic pickup for our municipal residents, and I think part of the number of requests is driven a little bit by what's gone on in the town, and I've learned a lot just since I was asking around about what could be done. I know that what has been done is that our residents are allowed to bring any amount of organic material to the Hard Scratch Center without fees, So that's available to our residents right now. For us to provide sort of a end of the curbside pickup is a much different matter than even I realized initially. So we've had some discussions around that, and I just wanted to let everybody know that they have the opportunity to bring organic matter to the dump. And this next week coming up is our organic pickup at curbside, and people are going to have to keep in mind that I think it's 3 foot lengths for material and bundled where possible, but they'll be picking up organic at the curbside as usual this upcoming week. So.
Thank you. So I think maybe we have notified the public they can go to the landfill, or we will be on the radio perhaps.
Yeah, actually, we do have it on our Facebook site
Right.
that the tipping fees have been waived for accepting debris, organic debris from this storm. So that's an option for residents to take it or have somebody take it for them. No tipping fee charge. And as Deputy Warden mentioned, next week is our regular organic collection week. So residents can bundle this in 3 foot lengths, and if it's stacked by the side of the road, that it can be accepted in our normal organic pickup next week. They'll be picking up a fair amount of that, I would think. In addition to that, we are going to contact our senior safety coordinator to basically canvass some of her clients, seniors, to see if they're in need of any assistance in doing some of this cleanup, for seniors that are not able to do this themselves, or have not had family or friends or neighbors come forward to do it. If there's somebody in that kind of a situation, that perhaps she could let us know about that, and we could perhaps look into what kind of assistance might be provided for somebody that just has no other means. But that would be restricted to seniors who are not capable of doing that themselves, or engaging others to do it for them.
Since I'm just going to throw this out there, a lot of residents that probably don't go on our Facebook site, and this council meeting won't be aired till the 1st of August, perhaps we should put maybe a radio ad or something just to inform the public what's up. Is that the wishes? Would council object to that? I think a radio ad for a couple days, and probably we'll take how long to the landfill? Was there any talk on we'll accept it for the next 3 weeks or the month, or?
I don't think there was an end date on that,
Okay.
but I would assume that they'll give a reasonable period of time. So I would think that for the
month
next
at least.
2 or 3 weeks, or
Yeah,
to the end
okay.
of July or something. I mean, because not everybody can get to it
That's
day
right.
one, and it could take.
Maybe waiting for vacation or
That's right, or
a
somebody
borrowed truck, or
maybe have to do
okay.
it weekends, or take time to engage somebody to get
Okay.
it done. So.
Thank you. 6.3, Councilor Anthony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to start off first. This is not a bashing in any way, shape, or form. The 7 of us are elected by our residents to represent them in any issues that come before the municipality. And I believe that there is an issue before the municipality and before us as councillors, and that is Hurricane Arthur and Nova Scotia Power. Nova Scotia Power has been doing a good job of getting out there and getting the power up and back to as many residents in a very time-honored fashion. And I understand fully if there's an area where there's, I'll say, 100 people that don't have power as compared to a person or 1 or 2 people on a road. Not that those 2 aren't important. I understand fully that Nova Scotia Power is going to try and get the 100 people up. I also understand that if their main transmission lines are down, they have to get those repaired in order to give the secondary lines the power to feed to the residents. But I guess what I am disappointed with, and I think some of my residents are disappointed with, is the manner in which it's been done. This hurricane, as our EMO coordinator had stated, he was keeping heads up on the 3rd and so on, knowing that it was coming, and you knew, according to the calculations and so on, it was supposed to hit us head on. Nobody knows which way Mother Nature's going to go, but it was supposed to hit us head on. I don't think Nova Scotia Power seriously took that into consideration. Where would we be right now if it had hit us head on? Nova Scotia Power, with what they're doing now, I think a lot of us would still be without power right at this moment. I guess what I want to say is I'm very dissatisfied with the manner in which I assume that Nova Scotia Power approached this storm, Arthur. I think they should have been better prepared for this whole end of the province. So I guess what I wanted to do was, I'm going to put out a motion onto the floor, and my motion will be that this municipality invite the powers to be from Nova Scotia Power, and the only one I can think of off the top of my head be David Sweeney. He's our local rep, I believe, or a local person with Nova Scotia Power, and whoever else that he deems that can come in here and answer, if my fellow councillors so feel, that why this happened. The tree cutting, all the trees that came down, I realize a tree in my yard is not the responsibility of Nova Scotia Power. If it falls down and takes down the feeder line to my house, that's my tree, my responsibility. The trees alongside the road and so on, why were so many of them still there? That's their responsibility to go out and do trimming and so on over the years. Are they lacking in that? And here comes a hateful point. They may be lacking in that, but their profitability is up there. They have to take some of that profitability and apply it to some of the infrastructure they have. And I think they're falling down in maintaining some of their infrastructure on tree cutting and so on. I really do. Because that is what caused all this problem. The wind knocked the trees down. I realize it's fully summer. The leaves are on the trees. They gathered more wind and fell over. Well, thank God it was the summertime. Thank God people could go out and barbecue. Because otherwise, I think we as councillors, if this had been November, I think we'd be really pounded by our citizens. That would be in quite a mess. People would have been, cold in their cold in their homes and just being able to cook food, etc., because there is a lot of seniors in our area and so on. So I guess right now that is my motion before this council, if somebody so deems to second it, and we can go from there.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
I think the motion is a good one in its intent, but the only thing I'd like to add to it is you talked about Mr. Sweeney coming in. Typically, Nova Scotia Power has had and Mr. Sweeney's been there. Certainly, he's been very helpful at our meetings of the multiple councils have attended. I think it would be timely to have one of those meetings with more senior staff that can answer all those questions, the whole gamut of our staff down here to answer those questions, and so we can respond to our citizenry. I mean, there's been some hardship certainly, and I for one don't want to see people put through this again. So I think certainly I'm supportive of the motion, but I'd move for an amendment to the motion to include that group of people coming down as opposed to just Mr. Sweeney.
I think I understand where you come from, and I agree. But in defense of Nova Scotia Light and Power, you can trim branches on a tree. But if I got a 50-foot tree in my yard, 40 feet from the power line, they're not going to come in my yard and cut that tree. And if that blows over and takes down the power line, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's both sides of that equation. And I think they got quite a little tongue talking from the premier, if you want to know the truth too. But by all means, if if you wish for him to come in, I'm not objecting to that motion. I'm just defending him a little bit in this way that I think it was Mother Nature, and you just can't. They could have done a better job probably on trimming some of the branches, but there's some things that you just are not going to fix in a hurricane, and so I don't know who's next. I got two flashing lights. Trevor.
Yeah, I guess I'll look for a seconder to that amendment to the main motion. But having said that, I think we do need to deconstruct some of the things that did go on, because while it was admittedly a powerful storm and kind of a freak storm, it may happen again during the summer, but still it happened. So what could be done better moving forward to ensure it doesn't happen, or if there's a worse storm in the future, we don't have, escalation of the ills that have been caused by this storm and future ones. So I guess it's about getting together as councils in the Power Corp and trying to make sure that we don't have a repeat of what went on. I mean, storms will happen, right? And they're infrequent events, but when they do happen, you don't want this to happen.
Rick.
Yes, well, I think my issue, and that's why I'd like to see him come in, is when you make a phone call to report an outage, because that morning I was at work and I made a phone call when the power went out at 20 after 4, and I was the very first one in Nova Scotia, because this lady said, you're the first caller to make a phone call to say if there was a power outage. So, and they told me when it would be back on and stuff like that, and they report it. Well, for 2 days, never seen a power truck. I don't think anything happened. And those are the things. And when you call in there, they give you this automated system that you're supposed to type in your telephone number, and then they say you're not even in the system, and you do it over again and over again, and then after a while you get tired of waiting, and then they come on the phone and they hang up on you. They don't even give you an answer. They don't put you through to a representative, and that's what really got to me. And I think that's the reason why I'd like to see them come in, because those are the kinds of questions I'd like to have answered. And I second that amendment to.
Well, that was my question. Is someone, no objection to the original motion from the, okay. Any further discussion? Question being called, all in favor? Contrary, nay. Thank you, gentlemen. Yep. So, well, I wasn't going to worry who had agreed to it, but that is proper procedure. So, question on the main motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Contrary, nay. Carried. Thank you, gentlemen. You have the committee reports. Any questions? Okay, Councillor.
No, I may be jumping the gun. I apologize if I am. Are we? Oh, in-camera recommendations is down below. Sorry, my apologies.
No questions from any of the committee members. We'll move on to number 8, in-camera recommendations. So.
Now it's time. Yeah. Anyway, I'll move that we accept low-income exemptions for account number 5129672 and account number 3364259.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, question being called, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, nay. Any other in-camera recommendations? Okay, I thought there was, but I must be wrong. Okay. That's the end of business, gentlemen, so a motion for adjournment is in order. Do a seconder? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.